It's our brand new real estate show here on TV8 Summit, bringing you the best of Summit County, including Debbie. Debbie, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes.
Pleasure
Great
to
to
chat
be
with
here.
you about real estate and all your experience, starting with your background in Nebraska. Tell me a little bit about that.
I'm a small town girl from a town of 300 in southwest Nebraska.
Wow, 300.
Graduated with 16 in my class.
Yeah, that's a small class size.
Very small.
So great core background there growing up in Nebraska. You've been in Summit County for a long time now,
Yes.
and your son Tyler is part of the business now. Tell us how that
Right.
works.
So we moved here in '99. I've been in real estate for 13 years. Tyler went away to college at CSU, and he came back and said, "Mom, I'm a mountain boy." And I said, "Great, move back. I
Move
need
back.
help."
Help me out, right? Business
So
is
he
good.
Came, and actually, you're probably going to see him in some future episodes.
Yeah, some future episodes. That sounds great. We were
Yeah.
talking about lining that up. Can't
Yeah.
wait to get Tyler on here. Service is a big part of what you do. And by service, I mean all through the transaction, but especially service after the sale.
Yeah, and I know that sounds cliche, but
Yeah.
we really mean it. From helping you with service providers, keeping keys so we can help access your house for the service providers.
Right.
It's just very, very important to us.
Resources if somebody needs
Yes.
a painter or a plumber, all the crazy
Exactly.
things that pop up and you don't know who to call because you don't live here
Exactly.
full time necessarily.
We're right there for you.
Speaking of not living here full time, you have some clients who don't live here full time and they have things happen, and you are on their alarm list.
Yeah, I have several clients that have asked me to be the first call on their alarm list,
Wow.
and I'm more than happy. And we had a situation a few years ago where they left at Labor Day and they forgot to turn on their furnace. And when
Right.
the first freeze hit in November, it just, the alarm went off. I got the call, the freeze alarm, and I had to go over and basically just turn on the heat.
Well,
But
thank goodness.
we were there.
You saved the day,
There
probably
for
saved
it.
them a ton of money.
Yes.
What's so cool about that is obviously you're their friend and they
Yes.
trust you to be on that list.
Yes.
What a great service it is. Talking about resources more, lots of things you need in and around Summit County. You really can help people with
We
that.
do. We love to hike. My son is a sailor. My other son is a sailor.
Yeah.
My entire family likes to hunt and fish.
You love it.
We just
You
love
love it.
life here.
Hey, tell us about what's behind us here, the Performing Arts Complex.
This is my greatest passion.
Yeah.
Lake Dillon Theater Company. I'm a huge believer in the arts, and they opened up here in Silverthorne, which is an awesome
And you're on the board.
I am on
That's
the
a
board.
big deal. Thank you.
On the board, and we're also sponsoring the children's program this summer.
That's great. Yeah, it's really revitalized Silverthorne
It is.
and Summit County for that
It is.
matter. A lot
It's
going on
wonderful,
with it.
wonderful program.
So, how would you sum up things in general? Great service, community activism.
Great service. We care.
You care,
I think is
yeah.
the biggest thing. We care, and we're here to take care of you.
Yeah, and you're a good friend to your clients. That means a lot.
Yes.
Okay, thanks so much. Check
All
out the
right.
website. Highly encourage you to do that. Much more to come on Summit County's newest and best real estate show.